Negative effects on the body from the use of illicit psychoactive substances can manifest themselves in the form of nervousness, impulsive behavior, and irritability. In some cases, there is a risk of hallucinations and depression. Those who abuse such substances can experience a range of side effects from insomnia, nausea, and vomiting to more serious symptoms such as paranoia and seizures. Constant use or high doses can lead to the development of psychosis. Despite current U.S. laws and measures taken to limit access to these substances, Wisconsin has seen an alarming increase in their prevalence in recent years. In 2018, the state crime lab reported a more than 400% increase in abuse and addiction among people between the ages of 18 and 25. This phenomenon has devastating consequences for families, young people's future prospects, and contributes to an increase in violent and criminal behavior. Our story will look at one such tragic case that occurred in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Shed Rakatarian was born on September 7, 1997, in Green Bay, Wisconsin. He grew up in the village of Ashwaubenon, which is a suburb of Green Bay. Shed was the fourth child in the family. The boy graduated from Bayport High School from 2010 to 2015. There is no information about his further education or arrest history. After high school, he began working at his father's family business. Shed was a creative person with a passion for traveling, drawing, music, and wood carving. The family remembers Shed as a kind and friendly guy. Not much is known about his personal life other than that he was single at the time of the crime. Despite appearing to be well off, Shed became involved with a woman named Taylor, who led an unconventional lifestyle that included antisocial behavior, use of illegal substances, and other destructive activities. Taylor was addicted to substances and periodically sought help from her social media followers. "Hi, I'm Taylor, a hardworking person who is going through a rough patch right now and really needs money to start a new life. If you can help me out financially, it would be greatly appreciated." Taylor, 24, was born on November 23, 1997, in Green Bay, Wisconsin. She was educated in Wisconsin and also lived in Suamico, Wisconsin, and several cities in Texas before returning to her native Green Bay. Taylor subsequently told a forensic psychiatrist about her history of addiction, as well as her history of mental illness and health problems. These included hospitalizations, a stay in a psychiatric unit after a suicide attempt, and previous diagnoses such as bipolar disorder, attention deficit disorder, and post-traumatic stress disorder. Taylor attended Bayport High School as a youth, but there is no record of graduation or further education. Information about her employment history after high school is extremely scarce. By the age of 23, Taylor already had a criminal record. On December 6, 2019, Taylor was convicted of driving with an invalid driver's license. She pleaded not guilty and paid a $200 fine. In June 2020, the girl was arrested on charges of battery and threatening a law enforcement officer. She was given a 2-month suspended jail sentence and also had her wages garnished to pay off her debts. In August 2020, she was charged with failure to appear in court and resisting a police officer. Fortunately for Taylor, both charges were dropped. A few weeks later, on August 31, 2020, she was caught with illegal substances and charged with possession. She was again charged with failure to appear in court and resisting a law enforcement officer, as well as the misdemeanor of resisting a police officer. Like the previous charges, these were dropped. Despite the obvious problems with the law, the girl received a minor sentence of 3 months suspended imprisonment for resisting arrest. Taylor was required to wear an electronic bracelet to track her location. On January 7, 2021, she was sued by the Federal Credit Union. On February 9, 2021, the city of Green Bay sued Taylor, and she lost the court case in favor of the city. On September 28, 2021, a warrant was issued for her arrest, but the offender failed to appear for a hearing. On January 3, 2022, another sentencing hearing was held. At that hearing, Taylor was convicted of the charge of assaulting a judge, prosecutor, or law enforcement officer. She was given a 3-month prison sentence. After the hearing on January 3rd, the girl returned to the apartment she was renting with a friend and tried to start over and turn her life around. Taylor faced continuous difficulties, her legal problems piled up more and more. Financial difficulties due to wage garnishment only made things worse. Being separated from her husband, who was serving time, was not making her life any easier. One day, a new warrant was issued for her arrest because she removed her electronic tracking bracelet. She is rumored to have had a daughter in 2021, but she has not filed for custody of the child. The girl's origin and whereabouts remained unknown. All these problems may have prompted Taylor to look for a way out of the situation. She approached Shed, with whom she had a close relationship, agreeing to meet on February 21st to spend time together. On Wednesday, February 23rd, around 4 a.m., Shed's mother called police to report a shocking find: a severed male head and a male organ found in a bucket. Police officers promptly responded to the Stony Brook Line neighborhood in Green Bay. Arriving officers confirmed the grisly details of the incident, fenced off the crime scene, and notified detectives. Detective David Graff was the first on the scene. He saw a man's head, male genitals, and a black bucket covered with a towel. A forensics team was called in. Shed's mother told police officers she was the last person to see him alive. Authorities launched an investigation and found out the last days of the boy's life. Taylor was taken to the police station. According to Officer Graff, the girl's clothes were covered in blood. Graff noticed a cut on the thumb of her left hand. There were also noticeable scratches on the girl's hands. He informed the girl that the police had been dispatched to Shed's house a few hours ago, where a human skull had been found. Taylor replied that it was horrible. The detective asked her if she knew Shed Terrian, and she confirmed that she did. The girl admitted that the van parked at the scene belonged to her roommate. At first, the girl claimed that she had passed out during their encounter with Shed and didn't remember anything, but would later begin to give frightening details. The detective asked if they had contact with anyone else since arriving at the house. She coldly stated, "Oh my God, my head! I can't believe I left my head." Detective Graff insisted that she finally tell the truth about what had happened. Taylor began to tell the story of how on Monday, February 21st, around 9:30 p.m., she and her roommate friend got into a minivan and drove to pick up Shed. She mentioned that all three knew each other well and were close friends, and all had an intimate relationship. They then went to her apartment on Eastman Avenue, where all three smoked marijuana, but Taylor and Shed also used other illegal substances. After the friend left, they injected themselves with an antidepressant together. Shortly thereafter, they left the apartment and drove to Shed's house in their roommate's van. They did not go into the house and went straight to the basement, where they spent the rest of the time until Shed's death. Shed's mother and her boyfriend were not home on Tuesday, but a little while later she noticed a minivan parked in the driveway in front of the house. She was unaware of who it belonged to. Taylor stated that she and Shed spent time in the basement. When they got to the sexual act, the boyfriend pulled out 2 chains, one for himself and one for her. She would later refer to them as dog collars, choke chains. Taylor mentioned that strangulation was something they had wanted to try for a long time. The girl started choking Shed, thinking it was part of intimate play, and then stated that she just went crazy with pleasure. She said that at one point, while she was choking him, she felt his heart was still beating, so she continued to choke him harder. Taylor claimed she waited for him to die by watching his face, but the victim didn't die. "I was already so far gone. Yeah, I was enjoying it," she said. She claimed she continued choking the guy even as he coughed up blood because she wanted to see what would happen. Taylor then asked detectives, "Do you know what it's like to love someone so much you want to kill them?" She said that after Shed's death, she played with his body for hours and performed various acts, including sexual intimacy, before ripping the body apart. According to the perpetrator, she hoped the police would have fun trying to find all the organs as she dismembered the body. Taylor said all the body parts would have been in the basement, but the leg could have been in the minivan. When asked what she did with the head, Taylor said she placed it in a black bag along with a blanket. When asked about the details of dismembering the body, the girl said that she used knives from the kitchen and that it was the bread knife that was the most effective due to the serrated blade. She admitted that she had originally planned to take all the body parts with her, but then she just got lazy and forgot a lot of things, including the head. Taylor stated that she did not start the whole thing with the intention of killing him originally. However, as she was strangling him, she realized that she enjoyed it, so she just kept doing it. When detectives asked if she thought it was wrong, she said she just did what she did, and that was it. Taylor was arrested and charged with first-degree premeditated murder, body mutilation, and third-degree sexual assault. Bail was set at $2 million cash. Taylor is currently being held in the Brown County Jail. On April 13, 2022, a hearing was held and a psychiatric evaluation was conducted to determine whether the defendant could stand trial. 5 weeks later, she was found to be mentally ill but capable of standing trial. The date of her next hearing was set for October 24, 2022, which resulted in her sentence, life imprisonment. Taylor's story is a tragic illustration of how easily the line between reality and the supernatural can be blurred. Her actions are shocking and incomprehensible, but her mental state is questionable. It is important to remember that behind every courtroom story there are complex psychological and biographical factors that make it not only a criminal case, but a profound human tragedy.